Hi everybody, how you doing? I'm Pabs, a rising VTuber and an artist. Today we're going to be working on the comic, Oh, that's strange, hang on. There we go. I got some progress done on the background in this last panel, and obviously on doing the flats for some of the characters here. These two backgrounds here are recycled. Nobody needs to know. Nobody needs to know. But today I wanted to focus on the layout, on the line work for this panel here. So we can start doing that right now. We're going to need these. We're going to need... Which one is this? Okay, we're going to need to lower the opacity of this one substantially and put it down here. Oh man, remember when I was trying to brute force the perspective with the cannon? And I actually ended up getting pretty fucking far. Oh, that was... Hey, bunny. Yeah, man, that was a lot of time I used up. Well, so it goes. It's hard to say that it was wasted, however. I feel like that I did gain something from that. Mainly the knowledge that I am wholly dependent on 3D models now as part of my workflow. Alright, let's get started on this panel. Okay. But this make the tail too thick. Iguanas have very whip-like tails is the thing. I'm not using that turn of phrase lightly, by the way. They will hit you with their tails if you piss them off, which is awesome, and one of the reasons I love iguanas as a beast. The only iguanas that I can't really rock with are the marine iguanas. They look kind of gross is the thing. Like, that's objectively a mean thing to say about an animal who has no control over its appearance. But listen, all right? Because marine iguanas hang out in the ocean all the time and they kind of like spurt out whatever kind of salt they gunk up in their kind of breathing systems, they end up having like this huge... I mean, this one's adorable, honestly. Like, look at this little guy. Oh my god, he's like a tiny little Godzilla. But yeah, if you check out this bigger one beside him, you can see what I'm talking about. They have like this really gross, crusty crest of salt from the ocean, which is cool, but also, I don't know. It's just kind of off-putting. It's like seeing somebody with like snot on their upper lip. You know, it's like I kind of want to take a handkerchief to him, wipe him up real good. You know. I remember there's also a third type of iguana, but I don't remember what their deal was. I remember there's like a normal green iguana. I remember there was the marine iguana, and I remember there's one more type. It's like a Pokemon. I don't remember what the third one's deal was, though. It wasn't that it was like an iguana of the sky or anything. Although that would objectively be a cool as hell thing. We need to make these beasts conquer all kind of available theaters of war. We'll have the marine iguanas as a naval division, the normal iguanas as the land division, and flying iguanas as well for the air division. It'll be an army with no weakness. Except for the fact that it's made up of iguanas. That'll be its only weakness, the one and only weakness. Nobody's perfect. I mean, insofar as training animals for an evil army goes, nobody's perfect. I imagine that's like the nobody's perfect. It sounds like the tagline for like a Valentine's themed Nerf gun. Or like if a dude gets divorced and you take him out to like a Nerf laser tag thing. I don't know, something like that. That's what you'd write on his card. I do know that divorce parties are in fact a thing, and they've been gaining traction too. So it's not unthinkable to see that like a few years out from here, we'll have some manner of culture around it. I hope we get gender reveal parties, but like for divorces, that would be. I feel like that would be really enriching for me personally. The incidents at these divorce parties are going to have to be insane to in order to kind of stand up to the big daddy of celebration incident based humor, which is gender reveal parties. Seriously, I feel like those things are Murphy's Law personified. I don't know why they're still legal. You'd think after the fourth or fifth one where something blew up, they'd start to put a wider ban on them, but I guess nah. Like with the exception of baby showers, it hardly seems necessary, right? The baby doesn't understand what's going to happen. The baby hasn't even been born yet. I don't understand it, is the thing. Like, just announce it in an email. You can chill. It's normal. Well, I mean, I can kind of get it on one hand, right? You have a strong desire to gas up your kid. That's a good thing. But, like, you can relax with it. This could have been an email energy. Yeah, that's what I mean. Send like a singing telegram or some shit. It'd probably come out cheaper. Honestly, a singing gender reveal telegram would honestly be kind of awesome. I'm not gonna lie. We need to have more and more singing telegrams. We have stuff these days like Cameo, which lets you like get David Hayter telling you in Snake's voice that you should have a happy birthday right now. But I'm saying we need something more. I feel like Fiverr definitely has some kind of thing that you can do for this. There has to be a market for this. I can't be the first idiot to think this up. Oh, yeah, speaking of weird marketing stuff, I found out recently about this thing called the Authentic Brands Group. What did I just do? Hang on. That's it didn't do what I wanted it to do, so I'm assuming it didn't do anything at all. Okay, there we go. Okay, no, now I'm in control. Now I understand what's happening again. Anyway, the Authentic Brands Group. So these jabronis, what they do is that they find brands that are like on the verge of financial collapse, buy the rights to that brand, and then essentially make royalties off from the licensing that they do for those dead brands. And they have like quite a few of them. Like they've got Quicksilver in there, they've got Reebok in there. They have like a few different places that have already been assimilated, so to speak. I think they also had like Forever 21 and the likeness of Muhammad Ali in there. One of these things is not like the other, you might notice. I didn't know that the likeness of Muhammad Ali was something you could purchase. That doesn't seem like him somehow. On the other hand, he did kind of cultivate that personality, right? I remember reading a quote somewhere where he said that he made it so that he intentionally riled up the crowds by playing up that persona of his, because he said that people would essentially pay to see him get punched in the face, and then they wouldn't get to see him get punched in the face because he was just that good. kind of an impressive business strategy. You have to be real. I think it's a kind of insane business strategy only he could have pulled off. Good for him, honestly. But yeah, I think that is like a famous Ali quote that he just said, "People will pay a lot of money to see you get punched in the face." The Paul brother who's in wrestling now. Paul of the Logan fame, or is it a different Paul? Hang on, Paul brother in wrestling. I think Paul brother in Jake or Logan. Holy sh! No, it is a Logan. I forgot that dude's last name was literally Paul. Never trust a motherfucker with two first names as a full name. Oh, he's in WWE. That explains a lot. God. But yeah, no, that is true. I do feel like on some level you have to if you learn to piss people off as a means of content farming, you do need to learn to adapt in new and unique ways that make you a worse person, but not necessarily a lesser one. Although sometimes it does make you a lesser one. Well, everybody works hard to make money and survive. That's how it is. Some people do that by getting punched in the face. Okay, then just grab it here. No, that's the wrong one. Where did it go then? It's a little weird. Anyway, I should probably finish up the rest of these guys. Oh god, I forgot just how much this involved. Okay, I think the best thing to do is to get the boards done first, and then focus on all this metal trussing. The thing that I learned about scaffolds when I was modeling them and learning about their purposes, I was trying to find an alternative to scaffolding. But the problem is that there is no real alternative. You need something that is kind of like makeshift and crappy because you have to put it away at the end and you need to be able to rework it to go to different places on the fly. So there's really no escaping its kind of complexity because having it have that many trusses and different parts is kind of vital to it being able to be taken apart and changed. Still, I'm sure it'll come out looking great, so it's worth it. I wonder if I should overlay some wood texture on top of these. That might not be a bad idea. Maybe just like a faint one. Almost imperceptible. I could just copy and paste these circles, but I want to fix up their... Hang on. I want to make their size consistent. Okay. Grab these. Okay, perfect. Now we just need to switch these around a little bit so that they look a bit more natural. Okay, shrink these down a little bit. All right, let's just grab these guys one last time, and then we'll shrink them up to fit them near the top. Can I please move? Can I move? Thank you. Yeah, the problem is that because the object tool is, well, a tool, if you switch to the hand tool or anything else that you can use for additional navigation on the canvas, it kind of deselects that. And forget this art AI thing. We need to find a way to let you directly brain beam interface with Clip Studio Paint. Yeah. I read recently that there's supposed to be some kind of like additional advancement with that fucking Neuralink thing. Let me see if I can find anything on that. From sometime soon. Or earlier today. Because the last thing I remember reading about Neuralink is that it had some test runs on some monkeys as a kind of a test run, and all of them died. Every single one of the monkeys died, which isn't great in terms of statistics. Uh-oh. Okay, so apparently the progression that it's undergone is that now it's ready to begin its robot-assisted brain chip implantation on humans. One obstacle is because it's okay. Let's see. The company hasn't announced exactly when it plans to do its first implantation, but Musk is pushing for it to be as soon as possible. One obstacle is because it hasn't yet found its ideal volunteer, despite an apparent wellspring of interest stemming from its approval for human trials from the Food and Drug Administration. In May, and subsequent announcement in September that it was recruiting its very first human subjects. Neuralink's prime candidate for its first implant would be someone under 40 who is paralyzed in all four of their limbs, and, of course, who is actually willing to have a chunk of their skull removed and replaced with a quarter-sized implant that will, the company hopes, be able to collect data from their brains. Holy shit. What the fuck? God, all of it is really bad, but when it just lays it out like that at once, it is a lot to stomach. Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. Oh, God. This thing is either going to crash within like the first 5 minutes and we'll never hear about it again, or we're going to have the world's first Terminator on our hands. Honestly, I'm hoping for a little bit of both. I hope we get the world's first Terminator for like 5 minutes and then it murders every scientist there, and then we're cool with it for the rest of eternity. Like, he just chills out at the end of the day. He's like, yeah, man, I don't know, I must have been hungry or something. God. Brain implant shit has always been the kind of like one line I didn't cross. I got to hear a dude talk about his transhumanist beliefs, right? At a convention one time. He had a bunch of different cybernetic implants in him, right? He had like a 6 terabyte storage disk in his leg. He had a kind of thumb drive in his hand. It wasn't really a thumb drive. It was more like a kind of RFID chip. That's the one. He had an RFID chip that he put into like the little meat space between his index finger and his thumb, like the little flap of skin there, because that let him actually. It's really interesting, the applications of it. I saw a video of it the other day where you could essentially have like program the little chip in there to both read and hold data. So one of the applications that they showed is that they had one of the chips programmed so that it provided a direct link. Like you could scan it, you could tap that area of the person's skin with your phone, and it would take you to their website, which is really cool. Actually, I actually quite like that a lot. But the problem is that you can also make it like copy and paste the authorizations on a key card. So that could be a problem if you're fond of stuff like security. But yes, many different applications. But the one thing I will never fuck with is the brain in my head. Lord knows that poor thing's gone through enough abuse as it is. Oh man, I hit my head a lot as a kid. Good memories though, good memories. God. This jetpack is so much fun to draw. Okay, then switch it here. Hmm. Okay, then we do kind of divot right here. Yeah. Oh yeah. Speaking of stuff about technology that I don't really like. So earlier today, right, I was scrolling through Twitter on my phone while I was taking a break, and for some reason I got sent to the For You tab. I blocked like 6 different accounts that I saw there because they were just like both either bots or just kind of content aggregation accounts. Stuff like, like stuff that puts together a bunch of memes in one place so that people can just scroll through them at one time. And I blocked like 6 of those accounts, and I got like this twisted rush from it. And I think I found a brand new, unconventional use for the For You tab. It's gonna be so much fun. I'm going now. Now, whenever I have like the need to work out some aggression, I'm just gonna go on there and block like 6 different accounts. This is also a preliminary warning that if you catch some strays by accident from me going on a blocking spree, that's gonna be on me. You can accost me for reparations, for emotional damages. All right, something about this doesn't seem right. Oh, I see what it is. All right, hang on. Gotta put this thing further out. Actually, it'll be around here, right? Yeah, because of the perspective. Okay, then right around here. Okay, what bugs me here is this break in the line right here. Let me just copy and paste this line right here. There we go. That's at least a little bit more cohesive. Okay. After this, we just need to work on the part down the middle here. Yeah, the good news is that it'll be partially covered by the wings thrusters. Okay, there we go. Okay, then we're gonna do the chevrons right here. Okay. I keep forgetting how many there are here. Hang on, let me open up page 2. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the last one ends with like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, no, we're perfect actually. High five, brain. Okay, that's the jetpack done. Okay, good. I remember the thigh holster. I was gonna be like, did I remember to do the thigh holster on the sketch? Okay, then like this. Maybe like this. Yeah, okay. Honestly, these pants are quite a lot of fun to draw. There's something about them that I guess they're like made of canvas or something. I don't know how to describe the texture of them in my mind. But there's something very sturdy about them that kind of makes my brain enjoy drawing their folds. I wonder if they still even make shirts out of canvas material anymore. Like I know they used to make shirts out of any old shit back in the days of sailors, so it wouldn't be unthinkable that they literally had a shirt made out of the same stuff that they used for sails, although granted it probably would have been very heavy to wear. But it's not unthinkable. Conversely, nowadays you just have like 5 different options from fucking Shine or something. The Shine canvas shirt is something that you should never, under any circumstances, trust. Alright, do not buy pirate wear from Shine. This has been a sponsored announcement. Wait, no. Like this would be like a what's the opposite of a sponsored announcement? A slanderous announcement? A discrediting announcement? Whatever that is, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm not endorsing, I'm encursing. For legal purposes, I am not actually slandering anybody right now. Man, I remember reading this one book series as a child, the Hotel for Dogs series. And they really had some fucking 40-year-old dude beefing with 12-year-olds. For legal purposes, I was just kidding, Your Honor. Yeah, that holds up in court, right? I was reading this one children's book series when I was a child. Obviously, I was reading this one children's book series called like Hotel for Dogs. It had like an entire series. It had like a newspaper for dogs. It had like movie for dogs, which I don't know, which is a funny name given that it was a movie made about dogs or starring dogs, if I remember the plotline correctly. In any case, there was this one book in the series where they started publishing a newspaper for stuff around the block, and this one dude just let his dog poop anywhere, so they caught him in the act. But then one of the kids who was editing the newspaper for some reason used Photoshop to enlarge the dog's dropping in order to more clearly show it. And it ended up looking like the dropping was the size of the dog, and the guy was like, I'm going to sue you for slander or libel. And I'm like, bro, you are beefing with like a 12-year-old. Like, this is a fully grown man willing to take children to court. Fucking insane in retrospect. You could do any old shit in the children's book series. Scholastic doesn't care anymore. As long as you can move copies on Scholastic Book Day, you're good. You're golden. You can do no wrong. Man, there needs to be stuff like that, but like for adults. There needs to be like an opportunity, like an almost pop-up book purchasing opportunity instead of having to go to Barnes and Noble every fortnight. I don't even have a Barnes and Noble near me. I've never understood the name of this place. There's nothing noble about it. It's not even inside of a barn. Shrek voice. It's not even in a barn. Let's see. I remember visiting a Barnes and Noble last time I went to visit my family. We went there for some reason. I think it was because my brother had like a gift card, or like they had a tradition of going to Barnes and Nobles every now and again to buy something. I don't remember why we ended up visiting it. I didn't know that they sold board games there now too. They probably sell them at the bookstores where I go to as well. I just don't pay attention. Okay, there we go. And then they sold them for a while. To be fair, it has been a while since I visited the good old Barnes and Noble. At that point, it hasn't been that long now, but it was at that point. I can see very well into my own future that eventually I'm going to become a board game guy. I'm just going to be one of those dudes who owns like 50 different board games that you've never heard of, but you have the night of your life playing. But I haven't fallen into that pit just yet, and I need to stay away from it as long as possible. Otherwise, I'm going to be kickstarting every other project that I see. That's a dangerous fiscal path to take. I was worried when I started doing model kits that I would become a model kit guy, but I've thankfully haven't found that big of an urge for that just yet. That hand is like tilted a bit too high up is the thing. Hang on. What if I just kind of... Oh, I missed a couple of digits there. No, no. Stay right side up, please and thank you. Maintaining all limbs inside the vehicle while in motion. Okay, now the question is, how do we angle this so as to make it work? I think the angle of the arm is more or less is going to have to be more or less the same. Let me just tilt this up a little. There we go. It's just the perspective on the sleeve here that's going to need to be a little different. Okay, I'm going to leave it back where it was, honestly. I don't think it'll make that big of a difference. Or, hang on, I could just tilt the hand a little bit. There we go. Okay, put this here, put this there. All right, that works. Down the hand, just a few stray fingers right here. I can't tell if the hand is too big or if I'm just doing something wrong. Yeah, no, the fingers aren't long enough, I think. I think that's what's bothering me about it. Or rather, the hand itself wasn't long enough. Now that I'm taking a second stab at it. Okay, then we'll do a ratio. I do like the playful grandpa wink. I will say that that was a good move on my part. Okay, there we go. We'll copy and paste this circle here. The circle. I should move it around a little more. A little further up, maybe? Yeah, that works. Okay, we will make this horn. Take a quick check on my wrists to do some wrist mobility stretches. They aren't sore or anything, I just think that it's a good idea right now. Recently, I've been seeing more and more videos, right? I was talking the other day about how I was watching this dude called the Bioneer doing some exercises, and very recent. I think it must have messed up my algorithm because now I'm getting recommended other exercise videos. Not many of which I'm interested in, but there was this one dude who was talking about like how to maximize the effectiveness of your workouts, and he was like, I went from going to the gym for 3 hours a week, 6 days a week, to just like 2 hours a week, 2 hours per session maximum, 4 times a week. And I'm like, that's not significantly less. I mean, it is significantly less relative to what you had before, but that's still an insane amount of time for me. Although it is funny because a lot of these guys, the goal for them is to maximize the efficiency of their workouts. And we're developing new techniques for that all the time, right? We're learning more and more about the body. We're learning more about what is actually like your optimal sequencing for exercise. So, for example, it's only recently that we figured out you actually do need, in order to gain mass and strengthen your muscles, you do need time to rest. You can't be firing in all cylinders all the time. You need to give your body time to recover and build that muscle. Otherwise, you're essentially going to be acting 24/7 like you're being hunted for sport. And your body will develop accordingly. But now I'm just imagining some dude in 50 or so years from now getting up from bed, yawning, stretching out a little bit, doing doing all your usual morning stuff, brushing your teeth, and then he kind of like stances up to do the morning workout routine that he saw in a YouTube video, and you hear the most thunderous, loud crashing noises for a full minute, and then he's done, and he looks great, and he walks away, and the room looks like it has been hit by an entire, like, it looks like a grenade went off in there. Whether it's efficient or not, I think if you exercise at all, you're already doing very well for yourself. Like, if you're exercising regularly, or if you've exercised today at all, you're doing well. I think we've been desensitized to it, particularly people who watch stuff like anime and such. We're kind of desensitized to seeing, like, somebody really built. But the fact of the matter is, to get there, you need an insane amount of conditioning. Some people talk about like how people dehydrate before bodybuilding competitions so that the muscles will jump out more a little, or rather that they'll stick to their sinews a little more and they'll look tighter. So yeah, in reality, it's unlikely that you'll get there, but you will feel better, which I think is a good thing. Now I just need to practice my own advice, but we'll get to that someday. I don't know, maybe I'll be the one pioneering that 1 minute full room crashing exercise method. I remember during the convention that I went to recently, they had this thing called Nerd Fight, where they essentially invited a bunch of people to sign up for a tournament and sign a waiver. It was essentially like a very friendly sparring competition between a bunch of different people who were given like these boffer swords, swords and shields, spears, Q-tips, those huge Q-tips that you see on TV sometimes. They were given some of those in order to do some very light fighting. So, first strike, that's the end of the match. That's how it goes, right? if you hit wrists, I mean, headshots and shots to the hand were not allowed. Those did not count, and they were taken away from your score, but they would pause the fight. But other than that, everything was fair game. And I do mean everything. One time, one of the dudes accidentally hit the other guy in the nuts, and they were like, all right, that was bad, but we are obligated to give you that win. Like, there's nothing in the rules against nut shots. And I feared for my life right then and there that it would become like an all-out... it would become like an all-out first blood. Like, the nutshot meta would become the new reigning superpower. But thankfully that didn't happen. But yeah, I remember during one of those, like, one of the contestants that I saw during that actually had like this really refined way of moving. Like, he moved very, very differently compared to everybody else. Like, he looked like he knew what he was doing. So I actually asked him, like, I like during one of the break times for the match, I was like, man, do you do like martial arts or something? And it turns out, no, he did not in fact do martial arts. He went on a VR game called Sword and Sorcery for like 3 hours a day every day. And apparently he essentially just did what he did in that game. Sword Art Online is a documentary. Oh, Lord. So that's interesting. I never considered that use for VR. Like, I knew that it took a lot out of you. I used to watch some dude making Beat Saber streams a long time ago, and he had to take regular breaks because otherwise he would just be exhausted. But I never really like seriously thought about the use of VR for exercise equipment. They talk a lot about gamifying stuff, right? Head in your hands. Why? It's funny. It's a funny thing that happened. The only thing that I will say is that I can't imagine VR for exercise. I feel like that definitely needs to be an augmented reality thing rather than proper VR. Because those VR headsets, I cannot for the life of me imagine are fun to wear while sweating. Like, I cannot imagine a universe where wearing a VR helmet while you're sweating buckets is a good or constructive experience. I'm sorry. Oops. I like that my text box thing just crashed. It's not updating. Hang on. Can I? Hello? Is this? Yeah, my text box is not working right now. Hang on. Maybe if I just kind of all right, maybe if we go like this. Okay, yeah, no, my closed captioning is just dead. My bad. Anyway, I like that my closed captioning died right as I said Sword Art Online is a documentary. I feel like it just committed, like, it just went out with honor. It's like, my streamer has committed a cringe. Time for me to leave. I must go now. It's like in Peanuts when Snoopy just covers his face. Did I remember the hip holster? I did. Nice going, brain. High five. Oh, there we go. We are so back. Anyway. Right. If they ever end up making a new Punch-Out game, it needs to have Simpsons faction as speaking of cringe, Sims new expansion pack is one of the new traits is cringe. I think I saw somebody posting about that on Tumblr as well. That is so funny though. What if God was real and assigned you cringe at birth? What if God was one of us? That's such a funny thing though. Having cringe as a personality trait. Your sim canonically browses Reddit. Your sim canonically owns Funko Pops. Let's see. Your sim unironically likes Marvel movies. That's not too bad of a thing, actually. We dunk a lot on like Marvel as a studio for a lot of things, rightfully so, most of the time. I don't know. I don't necessarily see having Marvel brain rot as a red flag. It's like I feel like with a lot of things, it's just that people have been exposed to like the very worst Marvel fans. You know, it's like a very vocal minority that form the experience, right? Like I'm sure I would have liked Hamilton if my major exposure to it wasn't some dude making stupid memes about his what's his nuts Jefferson having a Miku binder, right? I feel like that being my primary exposure to it kind of set the tone for a lot of what I would experience from that space. I'm sure if Hamilton is a fine, it's a play, right? It's like a musical. It's a musical or something. I'm sure it's a fine musical. So that is really funny. Oh god, I can't wait to hop back into The Sims on Saturday. It's gonna be great. I opened up my save file just to make sure that it worked, and my dude has like 50 negative. It is a musical. Okay, good. Got it in one. Nice. Yeah, I opened up The Sims to make sure that the save file worked and everything. And sad, I only know Miku Binder Thomas Jefferson. Right, Thomas Jefferson. I feel like I should be excused for not remembering that guy's full name because I am Ecuadorian. I have an alibi. I'm too Latino to care about the American founding fathers. God, now I'm just imagining some dude cracking open a history workbook and being like, "Yo, this Hamilton fic is insane." I mean, you could do that with a lot of things. Is the thing. Like somebody opens up a biology textbook and it's like, "Yo, new reanimator lore dropped." Technically, if your media features humans, that could be seen as a lore drop. Just cracking open a biology textbook. Like some dude learns about like saltatory conduction or something, and it's like, huh, how will this affect my DBZ power scaling conversations? Okay, just erasing these parts here. Okay, put that there. Round out that corner right there. Add the actual pant leg here. How is this looking without the sketch layer, by the way? Hang on, let me... I took out the line layer for that bottom panel. My bad, hang on. Okay, let me take out this part. I feel like I need to shift the cane a little bit to the right. Where is the lasso? That's not what I wanted to do. Let's try that again. Okay. Flip this. Okay, we'll draw the cane first and then the hand. If I'm first, I strike the hand. Okay, I think this thing had like a solid tip, and then it had the actual cane. Let's just keep stretching these two out until we reach the desired length. Okay, increase the thickness a little bit. Okay. Oh yeah, I should take a sip of water while I'm at it, huh? You know something crazy that I learned today is that we have a pretty good idea of what Pangea looked like, but we don't remember. Like, I think, from what I understand, we have a pretty good idea of what Pangea looked like. So, for anybody who hasn't heard of Pangea before, it is essentially the landmass all continents originated from. So, when the Earth first formed, we had a huge landmass that eventually broke apart because of what I understand is tectonic plate activity, and that split landmass would eventually become to know the continents we know today. So South America, North America, Antarctica, Europe, Arctic, the Arctic, Africa, Asia, and I think it's called Oceania. I keep forgetting what the continent Aotearoa and Australia is called, and I'm pretty sure it's Oceania. But yeah, that region. Those are like the major continents, and those were derived from Pangea. The problem is, we know what Pangea generally looked like. We don't know where parts of it went in some regards. So, take for example Argoland. We knew about Argoland. We knew that it was a place on Pangea. We didn't know where it went for a long time. Like we could see its structure more or less, but then we realized, hey, we're missing a pretty big chunk here. You know, after we like take away everything that we already know about the established contents, we're missing a pretty huge chunk here. Where did that go? So they ended up doing a little bit of digging. what ended up happening is that apparently they thought originally that what might have happened is that Argoland had been subsumed back into Earth's mantle due to some whack tectonic activity. But as it turns out, it essentially got shredded by the tectonic activity, and then it got moved up to the north, essentially to reside somewhere in Southeast Asia, and now it's there. You know, it's like a bunch of little archipelagos near Southeast Asia. The thing that bothers me is in that article that I read about Argoland, right? They didn't know, like they said, there was like this one dude who was like the foremost expert on like the fate and status of Argoland, and he finally figured out where it went. But then he was like, "Yeah, I'm turning my attention to other lost places," and then he didn't elaborate. Like, did we lose more than one continent from Pangea? Do we just know where half of those guys went? Like, their entire landmasses, they should not be easy to lose. At least that's my perspective. It might be easier to lose them than we think. Okay, how's that look? Does the arm make sense in this? No, it looks a little short. Alright, so we take another strategy. The hand is also a little small. The claws bother me. Hang on. There we go. That's a little better. Yeah, that hand bothers me a little bit. Let's make it just a few pixels bigger. Actually, hang on. Let's flip around the perspective on this whole thing. Hang on. All right, we move this here. We expand it outward a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. That looks good. I like how doofy the scepter looks. I don't think I ever talked about like what the scepter is supposed to be. These two little jets beside it, it's supposed to be a type of LiDAR, which is this 3D mapping tool, essentially. It's used occasionally in archaeology, which is why I included it as part of his loadout. From what I understand, I never actually ended up learning what LiDAR does. From what I understand, it's a very small camera that spins around a room very, very quickly, capturing data about its environment to the point that it can create like a 3D recreation of that room. And more or less accurately gauge distances based on that recreation. It's really cool. There we go. Need to get this belly fat just right. And we'll put his tail down here. Okay. Huh. That's the 3 main characters done. All right. Good. I think in order to combat everything else then, or to avoid being confused by my own clutter, I'm going to draw... I'm not going to think, I'm just going to draw. This is my best and only strategy. Sometimes I think that it does happen to me very often. Is that I'll try to find a more efficient way to do something. Like I'll try to find an efficient or lazy way to do something, and it'll actually take more time trying to figure out that solution, which looks bad, than to just brute force the problem from the beginning. The only times that this is an exception is when I make like a 3D model, like for the gun, because I know for a fact that 3D forcing the gun from so many different angles would have just been hell on my brain matter. Not impossible, mind, but just difficult. Unnecessarily so. Yeah. I have a complicated relationship with laziness, right? On the one hand, your desire to want to do less work very often does drive efficiency in one way or another. However, that same desire for efficiency can also be just as easily the development of a new process as it is just like ignoring a bad thing about an existing process and claiming that's more efficient, you know? Like if you have a stack of papers in front of you and you're told to, you know, analyze these things and stamp the ones that you like and don't stamp the ones that you don't like, you can theoretically be extremely efficient if you just don't read the paper. But then that's not really creating value for anyone, least of all yourself. So it's difficult to find that balance. Okay, I think I've got an idea for how to handle the metallic bars in the scaffolding. For the ones that are closer to the foreground, I'll use solid bar. I'll use like bars with a line like this, with a gap in the middle like this. And then for the ones closer to the background, I'll use solid lines. I think that's a good trade-off. I'm going to copy and paste these lines. Hang on. There we go. I'm going to copy and paste these lines here, just so I have access to them readily. Okay. Here's the next thing we do. Okay, now I forget. Does this next one have a line as well? Yes, it does. Okay. I remember now. Okay, yeah. Now I remember everything. Man, I hope that this truss in the middle isn't important because I'm not going to draw it. Yeah, okay, this works actually. What if I... Hang on, what if I kind of grab these two? And tried to do a little bit of hornswogglery with them. Hornswoggle is a word we don't use often enough, I think. Probably because it makes you sound like a bandit outlaw from the cowboy eras. But I think it has like a very analogous meaning to the word, like jiggle it around or fiddle with it. It's got a certain dignity to it, though, or rather lack thereof. Like if you jiggle it around a little bit, right? When I say I tweaked it a little bit or I jiggled it around a little bit, I feel like that implies you don't lack of understanding of the consequences of your actions. If you hornswoggle it, though, that means you understand what you're doing. I feel like it carries the implication that you are not only pushing the buttons, but you understand what each button does. It has more flair that way. It inspires the feeling of competence in the speaker, albeit retaining a little bit of that goofiness. I know that there is an entire university degree. There's like a field of study called semantics, which is exactly about this kind of thing, where people are studying like the effects that certain words have compared to other words used in the same context. Like if I say break and smash, those two communicate a similar idea, but one of them, they put in different visuals in your mind. If somebody says I broke something, it provides one idea, but if somebody says I smashed something, that gives an entirely different idea. Hey, what if I immediately ignored that thing that I said I was going to do and just did my own thing Wait, no, hang on, this actually works. Never mind, there's no need to fuck it, weeball. Unless... Okay, erase here. Where the hell... No, wait, actually, this is... Oh, wait, now I see the vision. Okay, never mind, we're fine. Okay, I'm going to change it up like this. And I think if we do one more line back here, that'll sufficiently communicate that there's a post right behind this one. Okay. And if I made a line here, there we go. Yeah, okay, that'll do. That being said, we do still need to make some of the trusses back here. Man, I feel like if I start becoming more competent with trusses, I'll eventually unlock some kind of 5-dimensional chess thinking. Like I'll be able to win at the shell game every single time now. There's this movie that I watched a long time ago called The 36th Chamber of Shaolin, which is this story about a dude who I think what happened is that he was part of like a scholarly unit that was being attacked by some kind of corrupt government official. So, and he ended up being half killed during the raid on his scholarly faction. He ended up getting dumped on a cart and almost dying, and somehow making his way to a Shaolin temple where he asked to learn martial arts. This is like the first 30 or so minutes of the movie. Then the next hour or so is essentially like a long form training montage of him at the Shaolin temple just getting ripped and figuring out the different tricks of the different martial arts that they have. I'm gonna do something real quick. I'm gonna cheat just very quickly. Ya pues. Okay. So it wasn't cut off. There's like another table right here. I see. Oh. Huh? Wait, hang on. Hmm. Wait, hold on. What? Oh, this is okay. You know what? I think I'm going to just keep on keeping on with what I was doing earlier. Okay, now I see what's happening. I think this intersection here confuses me. Hang on. What if I just a little bit more? Hang on. Oh, so that's how it is. Okay, I think I got it now. Okay, so that's gonna connect like that. it bugs me a little bit. It bugs me how naked that looks. Yeah, I can... Wait, no, I think... Oh, that's where it goes. Mira tú. Okay, now I understand. It took me a minute, but I got there. Okay, and then we're going to have another line right here. Okay, we just need to connect these two so it's a little bit more obvious. There we go. I get the feeling that this is going to be what it's like going to be like every single time I make these stupid fucking trusses. At least ladders are less complicated. Actually, I could probably just copy and paste some of the lines here and be done with it. The problem is that I was like, oh yeah, I'll just use a singular line for the ones in the back, but then I didn't account for the fact that that would look kind of ugly as sin. So then I didn't do that. Someday I'll learn. Half of my time saving strategies are like that one meme of the dude in like a mech or something being like, I'm a genius, and then immediately being like, oh no. The good news is that at least 10% of the time they work. And that 10% of the time ends up becoming a vital part of my workflow. The only way to load the dice is to keep playing. I was born to be a statistical anomaly. Okay. Ladder rungs. The guy who invented ladders must have been on a completely different level compared to his contemporaries. Like, that dude was definitely like the biggest brain player at the time. Like, imagine knowing the dude who said like, hey man, you know that thing when you do with where you have like a thing you need to get up to, but you only have two sticks and you don't know how to use them to get up there? I thought about this crazy new way that I could turn those two sticks into one stick that you can climb up, and you would be like, get out of town. And he'd be like, it's true. And then he shows it to you and you lose your mind. Dude, it's insane that we've only recently invented hype men as like a kind of social etiquette position. I feel like though, if hype men were around in the 1800s, we would have had some insane shit happening. Like, imagine if Thomas Edison hired hype men. He would do it. I have no issue believing that Thomas Edison would hire a hype man in this day and age. I think they were called pages or something back in those days. God, the idea of a page being like a knight's hype man is incredible. Okay, we put this one here. We put one right next to it and another one right next to that. Then we take these two, cross them in a truss. Truss is definitely one of those words that is like super satisfying almost inherently to say. We knew what the English language knew what it was doing with that one. Which is a rare sentence. I don't think we can say that about a whole lot of different words, but for this one, yeah, I'm willing to make that generalization. Okay. Okay. Flip this around and have it be down here. Okay, we'll add another one of these lines up here so that we can have a full thing of ground. Assuming we haven't done that already up here. No, we did. Okay, we did. Never mind, this can go. As for these ones back here, what if... Whenever I say what if now, my friend V recently showed me showed the group chat these videos, right, of these speculative Dragon Ball YouTube videos. Essentially, this one guy on YouTube made an entire series based around a speculative concept in Dragon Ball, which is like, what if Goku found a rock that turned him evil? And he has like 400 videos or some shit exploring this topic up to like the fucking boo sucker or whatnot. And man, the way that phrase has like perverted my vocabulary now. Like now, whenever I say "what if," I'm like, "What if I found a rock that made me evil?" I don't know. What rock would make me evil? I feel like I don't have that many strong feelings about geology as a thing. I feel like if I did, I would have an easier time finding a rock that made me evil. I know evil rocks, but I don't know about any rocks that make me evil. The evil rock in question being cesium. Don't don't mess around with cesium. It is hazardous to your health. Huh. That's weird. Shouldn't this have more? Oh no, it just ends there. Huh. Spooky. I was gonna say, I expected there to be more to this scaffold, but no, it just kind of ends there. Okay. That aside, let's play around some more with this space. Whenever it's about copying and pasting repetitive objects like this, it becomes a very Zen garden-like experience. I feel like I'm tending to a small bonsai tree. Okay. Okay, erase these parts here. Switch these parts here out. Now that I've gotten into the rhythm of it, it's kind of fun. Okay, erase these ones here. And then finally, okay, we get rid of these guys here. I forgot to chop this one up. Very good. Okay, what is next? I do kind of feel like, hang on. I do kind of want to do a couple of things here. Hang on. One being like right here, for example. All right, hang on first. No, it's right. The frame of the panel is messing around with me a little bit. Little bastard thinks it can throw me off my game. Okay, cut this apart. There we go. All right, I think this is the last one we need for the truss here. For the scaffolding here. Okay, move it up just a tiny bit. Hey, there we go. Okay, next up. Do we have? I think next up would be the ones back here. That should be pretty easy to do, though. I say, hoping I'm not jinxing myself. Oh shoot! Hang on? I think I might have forgotten. Yeah, I forgot just one. This one back here. That's an easy fix, though. Okay. Now then, these guys back here. I might as well start drawing the gun while I'm at it. That can go in a third layer. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, it comes in through here. No, something about that ain't right. Let me simplify this sucker so we can manipulate it a little more. There we go. All right, we just copy and paste this one. Oh yeah, hang on. Right, now I remember how I did this. It was like some kind of... What if there was a mysterious rock? Shut up! Shut up! Stop talking about the mysterious rock. I swear to God, there was like a little divot here. Hang on. It's like cancel. Does it taper out somewhere? Hang on. No, I do think. Okay. Wait, no. Oh, I see what it. Okay. That's one of the dumbest ways I could have done it, but well, we're doing it that way, I suppose. Okay. Okay. So here's the game plan. Here's the skinny. We have a kind of tapered part here. That we're going to display as follows, using cunning techniques and curved lines. Should I use a circle for this? Yeah, probably. Will I? Nah. 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 I'm a freehand this shit. What's the worst that could happen? Okay. Famous last words. Nah, see, look, I'm doing it. It's working out. It's fine. I will definitely not have to redraw this part in like half an hour. It's chill. We are listen, everything is so cool right now. You have no idea. It'll be fine. Through gritted teeth, it'll be fine. Whatever. If I die, I die. I take comfort in the fact that if I'm ever killed from my insolence, at least I'll have had it coming. Like, if I die a death through hubris, I'll at least have had it coming. There we go. Okay. Okay, this top bit had like a kind of bitten off vibe to it. I don't know if this is just me. I wasn't afraid of like can lids as a kid growing up, but you know what I was afraid of? The tabs on soda cans. You know those ones that you use to like crack them open? For some reason, I was always super scared that they would cut my fingers. Probably because my fingers were very weak and my nails were very short because I kept biting them. So I always had a hard time with soda tabs. Yeah. It wasn't until later that I realized how sharp can lids could be. And even then, I haven't really been majorly hurt by one. I think the most dire incident that happened wasn't actually with like a soup can or with a soda can. It was actually with a paint can from that got sealed a little bit too zealously by the guy at Home Depot. And when I cracked it open, it kind of well, it sliced at my wrist essentially. I was like, "Oh my god, am I gonna die?" And it was fine. It healed in like 3 days. Ever since then, though, I've been a little bit wary of the little bastards. Kind of like how I'm wary of fish bones. My mother told me once that at one time my grandpa almost died eating fish because he choked on one of the fish bones. And since then, I've had a super huge ick about them. In general, I don't like food that can fight back. This is also why I'm morally against eating pineapple. That's not true. That'll be a funny reason to be up against pineapple. I don't believe in eating anything that can eat me back. I choked on fish bone once and couldn't eat fish sticks for a while. Fish sticks have fish bones? What the fuck? That's messed up. That pineapple do be fighting back as a thing. I think it's also bad because I think I might have, and I haven't confirmed this medically, but I think I might have some kind of like sensitivity to citruses, or at least to pineapples in specific. I don't think I'm allergic to pineapples, but I definitely have some kind of sensitivity to them because they fuck me up real bad whenever I eat them like by themselves. Like pineapple pizza, for example, is fine, but like if I eat a chunk of, like a pineapple chunk, that shit hurted. Much to think about. I don't get it. I don't get why a pineapple of all foods should fight back. It's so sweetened. It's already covered in spikes. What does it need additional protection for? That's not fair. That's like if a hedgehog could carry a gun. Shadow the Hedgehog, all of me starts playing in the background. I'm gonna drink some more water. Okay, where were we? Yeah, this back part. I'm glad to see that my policy of fuck it, we ball has not yet come back to bite me in the ass. This pleases me greatly. I just want to try and keep jinxing it so that it eventually happens. I want to see. I want to see what my come up is for this. My comeuppance. Okay, grab this. Okay, and then just switch them around like this. Excellent. What is this part, though? Hang on. There's like this little chunk right here that I... Oh, wait, no, that is more of the cannon. That's... Oh, it's difficult to get an angle on it here. Hang on. Oh, that's what it's about. Okay. I think it'd make more sense if I just rounded it out like this. Did I make it with a round dial here? I sure did. Why did I do that? Well, I guess it's because a square dial wouldn't make any sense, but still. Okay, shrink that down. Plonk that down right there. Bring this back around here. Magnificent. Come on, there we go. Okay, we can just move that around. I'm noticing that a lot of the curves that I make are the right curve, just displaced by 2 or 3 inches. How am I even supposed to take that? Does that mean that I need to be aiming a little bit more to the left with my hand? Well, it's an easy enough fix, that, given that I use vector lines, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Okay. Let me grab one of these lines. This one should do. Let me thin it out at the end there. Just a little bit more. There we go. Why did that not copy and paste? Thank you, there we go. Oh, that's how it goes, okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, bring that down here. I am really glad that I've gotten the color scheme for most everything figured out, though. I think the reason that page 2 dragged on the way it did for me was because, and I think I've mentioned this before, and sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I do think that the reason page 2 dragged on for a little bit for me was because there was just so much that I still hadn't figured out about the workflow. Like, now I can definitely say that I'll finish this page this week. I couldn't say the same for page 2 when it was at like this stage of completion. I should just make another ellipse here. Ellipse feels like such an undignified word for some reason. I think it's because it sounds so much like whoopsie daisy. I don't know, it just feels like a weird thing to call a circle. Or a circular object. It doesn't have the same panache as like parallelogram, for example. Or rhombus. I mean, very few shape-related words have the kind of insane swagger that rhombus has. I feel like rhombus is a cut above. Something very strong about it. Something about the plosives in there. Okay. Then right here. I'm just gonna copy and paste a circle up here. I'm gonna be real. There we go. God. Yesterday I saw a few episodes. Jade did a small stream where they showed a few episodes of this one old tokusatsu show called Juspion. Holy shit, what a deranged show. I feel like I ran a marathon watching the first episode. It fucking goes really fast. Its pacing is insanely quick. I feel like it's like the equivalent of those. It's like the tokusatsu equivalent of like watching a Maxor video. It's like we're here now. We're here now. There's like a bind boom sound effect. Why doesn't he transform? I don't know. It's insane. I watched 2 episodes straight, and then like the last little bit of the 4th episode because I took a break to get a shower, and I still felt winded by the end of it. I love old TV shows that just don't explain anything to you. They're like, we're gonna be obtuse as hell, and the psychological equivalent of like dangling keys in front of your eyes, and you're going to love it. And I'll be like, sir, yes, sir, right away, sir, for 46 episodes, sir. God, if somebody does a marathon of that show, I don't think they'll be the same psychologically when they come out. So, fun time, honestly. I think if you watch it with a friend, it's going to be super fun. Because then you can both be assured that you're not losing your minds. This show really is just that insane. You need to have like a psychological tether there with you. You need to have like a designated driver, but for a reality check. Okay, copy and paste that. I almost said copy in French. That's not what I meant to say. Copy in French. I shudder to think what kind of context that phrase could be used in. I mean, there is such a thing as a French press, but I think that's a coffee machine thing rather than a copy machine. What's a French press? Hang on, let me double check that. That's definitely a coffee thing. Yeah, no, it's this thing. I don't see what's so French about it. Just looks like a metal thing to me. I mean, it's like French fries, and it's not. I am being sarcastic, by the way. I know it was probably made in France. or developed in France, or was it? Maybe it's also like a French fry situation where French is just the name of the guy who made it. Okay, no, it's definitely French because it's called a cafetière à piston, cafetière à stantufo, press pot, coffee press, or coffee plunger. So I stand corrected. It presses them beans. And now I'm just imagining some French dude being like, Sacre bleu, you tell me this machine presses French people? He's all distressed and everything. His little mustache is like twirling all over the place. Oh god, iguana jump scare. Hmm. It's been a while since I've had a decent cup of coffee. I should find a place that does some. There's a cafe near where I live. Actually, I should go talk to them. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Okay, cut it out here, and then we cut it this one out around here. I'm just gonna take. Hang on. Maybe if I just right here make a small, tiny little gap, just the tiniest little gap. I think that makes it easier to follow. Yeah, I feel like I should try to find a place that does like mid to decent well coffee. Because I feel like it's been a while since I've had like an actual good coffee, and I think if I forget that at any point, I'll stop being able to appreciate bad coffee, and that would be a serious problem. Okay, close that down. Okay, and we just gotta tidy it up a little around in here. Okay, that should do it for this top part, and I think with that, the gun is ready to go. We just need to do the scaffolding in the back. We have made some really good progress today. I could probably do the scaffolding. I'll leave the actual people in there and the shading and all that to the weekend. Let's see. Scaffolding, huh? Screw it. I'm making a third layer. Fourth layer, actually. Yeah, all put together, this is starting to look really good. Okay. What if I increase the stabilization a lot? I feel like that would probably help with this one specific part, so I don't need to redo lines as often. Hmm. Okay, we are going to use this part here. Okay. I need to use a thinner line width as well. Maybe like 7 or 8. Yeah, that fits in pretty well. Ladders are kind of good for drawing. I feel like there's something very wholesome about drawing ladders. Relatively uncomplicated, doesn't need to have that many frills, but you can get pretty spicy with it, I think. I mean, that's true of a lot of things, but I reckon with ladders it's especially so. And I think that's highly technical. I feel like you can get real spicy with it, but you can also get really abstract with it. I mean, you could draw like a robot from like the Armored Core series, or you could draw like a robot that looks like this, right? Maybe if I give it like goggles, there we go. Yeah. Oh shit, that thing reminds me of this one educational series I used to watch a lot as a kid, or that our science teachers would put on a lot as a kid. I forget its name, but I remember the two people that hosted it were this. It was like a flash animation. Let me look it up. I remember the two guys that hosted it were these dudes called Tim and Moby. Brain Pop. Yeah, that's the one. Oh wow. So it turns out that when you look up Brain Pop on the Google, third image result is Yowie of those two. So do beware. But yeah, Brain Pop. I remember seeing a ton of those as a kid. Honestly, that I wasn't surprised by the existence of the Tim Moby Yowie. I was more surprised by like the urgency with which it was presented to me. Like third hit on the Google. God damn, there must be a lot of it. Okay. More ladders, huh? I know what to do here. Maybe shrink it down just a little bit. We only ended up using like two two sticks of it of like the 14 we transferred over. Oh, that's funny. Hang on. Okay, there we go. We'll do the same for here. Hmm. If that's the case, let's just bring this one back here. I think if I put up the next one. Yeah, that just about finishes where we... Hold on, what's going on there? There we go. Okay. I see, so that's how it is. Okay. Right. Next up. Yeah, we just gotta keep making these rungs. After that, it'll get covered by the stuff on the next layer. Okay, now here is a chance where we can duplicate the ladder without issue. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's keep going like this then. Okay, bring it over here. Wait, did I do that right? Okay, no, that's what I realized. Okay. Never mind, we're cool. Perfect, okay. Call this a ladder match. Call this an escalation. Okay. Come on, I am ladder's strongest soldier. I got this. Yeah, the rest of the second freehand. I'm fine. It's fine. I'm so smart and powerful and awesome, and all of my martial techniques are lethal. Listen, sometimes when you do self affirmations, you have to be willing to get creative. It gets stale if you do the same once each day. I am worth it. I am I am important to the people around me. My defense, attack, and special defense stats are all perfect. Okay. Ooh, these rungs. Wait, what the? Huh. Did I do that? No, okay, it's fine. Huh, that's weird. Oh, there we go. Oh no, are all these gonna do that? That's crazy. Okay. Okay, we're cool, we're cool. Everything is fine and dandy. Alright. Anything else? Oh, right, the scaffolding. The scaffolding meant to kill Cusco. That scaffolding. Scaffolding that found an evil rock. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Anyway. Oh yeah. I experienced a sincere moment of childish whimsy yesterday. I got in the mood to eat, you know, those like gas station cotton candy things? You know, the ones that come in like a tiny bucket and are serviceable enough as cotton candy. You know those? I got the craving for one of those. There's a small convenience store near where I live that sells stuff like that. It's one of those exotic snack joints, you know, but they have cotton candy in a bucket. Like that is very much a thing they have. So I walked my ass over there to get one. And unbeknownst to me, this was not just any random gas station cotton candy. This had like pop rocks in it. So I took a bite and I felt like the pop rocks going off inside my mouth, and I was instantly like, I don't know how to put it. Like, have you? I had like one of those Ratatouille moments where I like flashed back to my childhood. It was crazy. It turned my tongue blue, but it was so worth it. In fact, I see that as a big plus. But yeah, I had like a full on Ratatouille moment where I just flashed back to my childhood. It was great. I don't know how many people have like a nostalgic snack food like that. The thing is that I think the reason it worked so well for me is because it's been literal years since I've had like pop rock candy. I feel like if it's just something that you ate in your youth and now you also eat regularly, like say a Kit Kat bar or something, I feel like it wouldn't have as profound of an effect. That might just be me though. The one snack food that I never understood was Twinkies. Maybe it's because I just didn't grow up with them. They're a little too, I don't know. There's something that's like unpleasantly heavy about them to me. I reckon they must be popular though. I never understood. Me with those wax little cans with a little bit of juice. Wax little cans with a little bit of juice. Hang on, I need to look this up. Wax cans with juice. Uh, Twinkies are a hit or miss with a lot of people. Oh, really? I didn't know that. That makes me feel a little more validated. Thank you. Wax bottle with a teeny amount of juice. Oh, wait. I think I found them. Hang on. You mean these things? You could chew the bottle. Is it these things? Wax bottles, liquid filled. Huh. This is a bottle customers can open with their teeth. The wax candy then, when bitten, gives away to a gush of fruit flavors that will bring waves of nostalgia. Huh. Interesting. I feel like I recognize them. I understand them in concept. I don't think I saw them as a kid. That's cool though. I've never heard of those. I wonder if there's any medical consequences to eating the wax. Oh yeah, wax texture. I could see that. I could see that. God, I remember when I was a kid, I made a small, brief, short-lived habit of chewing on like those like glue tack things that you hang up posters with. Thankfully, it turned out to be non-toxic. But boy, did I scare my parents with that shit. Oh my god. But yeah, I could see that being fun for the texture. Very valid. Actually, that does also give me some context for something I read one time. All right, so when I was a teenager, or I don't remember if this was during. No, this is definitely like during high school, middle school, right? My school library had this thing where whenever books got too old or like too fucked up, they would hold like a small event where you could like take one with you, right? Like it was their way of getting rid of old books. They would just like give them away to students. And among those books, I found one called The President, which I realize in retrospect must have been one of those like magical realism novels. But I remember distinctly one part where a character has like this dying dream sequence. Essentially, it's like this vagrant who has suffered mortal wounds and is currently kind of like in the throes of death, hallucinating like the last bits of his life away. It was a heavy book, by the way, like heavy topically in terms of topic covered, not in terms of how physically heavy it was. In any case, so this vagrant was having a dying dream, and he dreamt that like a figure gave him sticks of wax to chew on. So now that you've given me the context of like chewing wax for the texture, I kind of see what that might have been about in the book, because originally I was like, wait, chewing on like wax? What the fuck? But now I understand. Now I see the vision. Now I understand it a little better. It could also just as easily have been that the guy, I don't know, maybe it's all context based. I don't think that the novel was written when these wax bottle toys were a thing, when these wax bottle candies were a thing. So it's entirely possible that the author made it was. I always attribute it to either the author deliberately trying to be like, what's the one thing that I could make this guy chew that is interesting enough in terms of texture to be imaginable, but not something that you would conventionally think to chew on. Or it might have been a translation error. I always attribute it to the translation error, but it could have been that he had that vision. I should really try and find a copy of that novel somewhere, somewhere to kind of try and finish off reading. I feel like it's a waste to not do so. I can't say that I was particularly far into it, but now I kind of want to see if I can find it again. Mainly I want to see if I can find it. I think, like I said, the novel itself didn't intrigue me too much. Okay, and then we just round it off right here. Okay, with that, I think we've actually finished the line work for this panel. You know, notwithstanding the background, the other characters that are supposed to be in there, and the flying drones. I'll worry about those some other day. All right, I'm going to call it here. You guys have a great rest of your evenings. Later. Bye.